Hello, Ectosage here on the Sage channel. It's Sleep, Art, Game, and Eat. And today an update came out that made the refinery and the assembler start working. So if we were to run in here, you can see our assemblers. They now work. I'll get to those in a second. But first, what you would need to do is go out into space, find an asteroid such as that one, mine it up. But I've sort of skipped all that. Basically, when you spawn in the game now in creative mode, your inventory, if I can just press K and not L or any other silly button, you automatically get a few things in the inventory. Usually not this many. What I've been doing with this is I've taken whatever I started with, put it in a container, which also containers now, if I was to, let's say, just put down a small storage container, and then go into its inventory, you can see they automatically start with supplies. You can double click to get those out of there. You can do that for anything, but they will not auto sort. You'll have to manually stack them and sort them as you see fit. But anyway, they automatically start with that stuff. So what all I've been doing really is taking all my supplies, putting them in a container, duplicating the container using Control-C and Control-V, taking them out of the second one, putting them in the first one, and then copying and pasting it again to get a bunch of supplies. Anyway, while I've been talking, I could have been doing this, which is pretty simple. I'll double-click. You can see here, actually, I don't think you can put stone in here. No, you can't actually put stone in here. I don't know what it'll become. But anyway, this is a refinery. And I actually have two of them just stuck into the ground here, and they sort of stick out of the bottom of the ship. You can't really see it, but this is the top of a refinery, and now that I've stuck those in there, we can press K again after a second. Oh, wrong button there. And you can see now it's actually started making this silver, which they have their elements from the periodic table of elements, I believe, listed above them instead of their actual longer name, but you can see that's being smelted into its basic components. While you're actually looking at it, I think it's because the game pauses when you're actually looking at stuff, possibly, but anyway, the game does not continue smelting, so you can't be in there while it's smelting. No nice little display. Now, while that's smelting, I am going to run over here and show you something else that they've done. Now, it might not be the biggest thing, and it currently doesn't actually do anything, but you can see it's something in the future, and you might have noticed that there when we were running past these doors, and it is the actual doors on the side there. Now, I think those might have always been there, but they didn't show up as much because I've just pressed 1, and now I'm going to right-click to easily put this in my slot 1. You can see now when you're posting a door, you can actually see that the doors are closed. But unfortunately, currently, I can't find any way to actually open or close these doors. If I go in there, door 21, I turn on, nothing. I'm pressing T, it's not doing anything. Maybe if I press T and walk away, they're automatic doors. They sense where you're near them. Nothing of that sort. They don't seem to be actually functional currently, which is unfortunate, but whatever. Anyway, it's still cool to see what's coming soon. Anyway, let's check our refinery now and see if it's almost done. If I can just find the 0 button. Okay, so here we go. After a fair amount of time, all of our supplies have been smelted, and I'm just double-clicking really quickly to get these back into my inventory. And currently, as you can see there is no limit to the amount of stuff you can have in your inventory. When it looks like you're full up, you bring it over, and it just stacks up again. Even there, it just shifted the block I put it on top of over there. Anyway, so now, here we go. We got all this. We can now take it over to our assemblers. Then we can go in here, and just like the other one, we can double-click to automatically put this stuff into the correct slot, which is these any kind of ingot slots. If we just go to drag it, we can also put it in there, and it looks like it's full. Again, just drop it in there. It'll make more any kind of ingot slots. These slots here are for finished products that come out. By the way, that stone turned into gravel. That was the thing I wasn't sure what it would do. Anyway, here we go. If you go to control panel, we're on assembler 6, you can actually see what it does here. And when you click on an object, it'll show you what you need. So you need 1 iron ingot and was that 0.6 magnesium powder to build that. So I believe you can, yep, just double click it and it puts it in this, which is basically a queue from left to right. It'll build whatever you put in there. I'll just put everything in there for now, and we'll start building all of this. And these are little things like the motor. We got a bulletproof piece of glass, computer, reactor components, displays, lots and lots of little pipe skirters, nonsense like that. There are thruster components, all sorts of interesting stuff. And of course we can scroll down. We can see more stuff to build here. So I'm just going to toss all this in there really quickly. And we should have enough for all of it. These are magazines, actually, for your weapons. Why not? I'll make a few of them, too. That way we can see what they look like when I drop. And you can see here now, we have this scroll bar. So you can see this huge list of stuff that it'll be working on. And just like the refinery, unfortunately, it is not working on it while we're in here because apparently the game pauses. So if we exit this and go back right away you can see it's already started working on that, and it's 12% complete. So anyway, I'll exit that, and I'll skip ahead a moment until when it's done. Alrighty, so here we go. It is all done except for these 2 blocks here. As it starts working on it, shifts it out of the queue and into there. And you see this one's gone red because not enough materials. And if I click on that, it doesn't do anything. But if I go down here, we can see it these ammo containers. And you see we have all this. Unfortunately, it doesn't tell you which one we've run out of, so you just sort of have to look through here and see what we don't have enough of, and it looks like we don't have enough of potassium. Now I'm going to be a bit cheatsy doodly here, and I'm going to go to inventory. I'm going to take this potassium out. I'm going to run outside really quickly and just do another one of those dupe things I was doing a minute ago. And I'm actually going to do it even quicker than before, because now I'm just duping the already refined materials, so we won't have to worry about running about with needing to reduplicate that. We'll just do this really quickly. Hello materials, how you doing? Good, that's good. Got more of that now. Copy it, paste it. That's cool. Almost got enough now. One more time, we'll have more than enough potassium for these buggers. So there we go. And I'll actually probably do this one or two more times. Alrighty, so there we go. I ended up doing that a fair few more times actually. Up to over 7, I believe. Potassium now. Actually, yeah, up to 15. Anyway, we can drop that back in there. Now when we go into this, if we really quickly close, then open it again, you can see now it's back in the process of being built. So we exit that, give it a minute, should build it pretty quickly actually, I think. Yeah, it's going pretty quick. So there you go. It is now done, nothing in the queue, no slider or anything. And you see now we have a scroll here to scroll down. You can see the ingots that we've put in there and the raw materials. And you see all the stuff that's been built. And if we go back to inventory, that's all the stuff in there. And so now we can just basically double click to take it all out and put it into our proper inventory. Apparently it doesn't want it. There we go. And that's actually not stacking, but I bet you, yes, I can indeed stack these so we can have double of those. Be a little funny if you could dual wield those, even though it's completely unrealistic. So let's just bring those in there, and actually it doesn't look like I was able to build a drill. No, currently you cannot apparently build a drill. And actually I never realized that's a radio communication components. Maybe you'll even have a handheld radio and not just little communication antennas. Who knows? Anyway, let's get the rest of this stuff out of our inventory here. Just gonna click in one spot madly. And there we go, got everything there. And now when you go back into this, unfortunately there isn't like a second set where you can now use those parts to build anything. That's it. Because, well, actually maybe that's not unfortunate, but usually in the main game what you're going to have is the basic outline of an object. So let's say I wanted to build a normal generator like this. In the normal game you basically have, I believe, a few raw materials, and this is in the future, and this is mainly just speculation and little bits I've seen on Twitter and from the devs. You'd place down the basics of it, but instead of seeing the actual reactor, it would just be a metal outline of it, and then you would use probably, I believe it is the welder. Yeah, the welder, and basically what that would do is allow you to go up to it and work on it. And when you work on it, it would probably pull from your inventory the items that it would need. So for this reactor, it would probably need maybe a computer for regulation, probably not that, but almost surely reactor components. And then of course once you've got it done, you would need to have refined some uranium. That way you could go in here and plop uranium in, which I actually don't have any uranium on me. I left it in the crafter. And that would power up your generator, of course. Anyway, that's about it for the actual crafting stuff. Pretty cool. Really quickly, I'm actually going to drop all these down here. Alrighty, so I've dropped most of those. I'm really quickly going to, how did I do that earlier? I believe it was right click and drag. Yeah, there we go. So I can turn that from 2 stacks, or I should be able to take this and basically confirm that I want to move just 1. So that was right click and drag, and I can do that for this as well. Click and drag, confirm 1 of those, so that way I can drop a few of these interesting little tools and stuff. Even though they've been in the game for a while, at least now we can just click, drag, see them. They might have done small minor updates, but I've never really looked at them before, so I don't know. I guess I'm not the best to tell if they actually have been, but I just like the fact that you right click and drag to cut stuff like that. Cut stacks. Did that not drop? No, it didn't. Fishy. Anyway, there we go. So here's all the stuff that I just built in those refineries. Well, smelting the refinery, building the assembler, and then ran out here and dropped it. And a lot of them were different sizes than I really expected. You can see here we have our gravity generator components, which, yeah, considering gravity generators can only be used in large ships and stations, it kind of makes sense that this piece would be big. Whereas something like this, which is actually our thruster components, is very small because I suspect it's designed to work on small ships and maybe big ships. Then again, we might have large thruster or large ship thruster components in the future. So currently they're just tiny. Who knows if they'll be worked on big and small yet? We don't know yet. Here's reactor components. Again, reactors are an assortment of different supplies. It's sort of interesting because it is indeed looks like a bunch of components that would be used for a reactor, like maybe that's the main reactor there, and then there's the rods that would go in it. Here is just a steel plate. Looks like a steel plate, and I've just picked it up. We got our wait, what? To pick up girder. I read it as grinder. Girder here. Just triangular girder, and then we got our small steel tube. I'll just pick these up as we go. And then it'll actually allow you to also see the size difference that I didn't exactly expect. So you see that, and it looks like I'm expecting a big cube like that of metal stuff. But, of course, it wasn't. Anyway, we carry on. We got our pretty large steel tube, which makes sense because it was called large steel tube. Our display, which looks like maybe a strange iPad or something like that. We got some of our bulletproof glass, which is pretty damn nice. We got our circuit chip, which is small enough that you could so easily lose. Our detector components, which yeah, I guess that'll be in like ore detectors, and the fact that they just call it detector makes me think we might even be building that into some sort of different radar system. We got our medical components, which look pretty damn awesome, and that was not the right button. I was trying to see if I could just copy the object itself, and I cannot. It's pretty cool that the lights are dynamic though, apparently, from the new thing I'm trying to post. But anyway, you cannot currently copy and paste these, so unfortunate. We got our radio communication parts, which are actually pretty damn huge. And then we got our motor parts, which is pretty funny considering something else they did in this patch. They've gone and they renamed the motor to rotor. So I'd almost have expected. By the way, here we go. The construction components. That'll probably be something you'll need to build anything. We got our metal grid, our interior plate, and then our ammo, which I'm pretty sure the reason they look like this is just the same reason they basically look like squares in your inventory, is because they just don't have anything properly set up for them. And then we got our old basics here, the gun, the grinder, which actually looks pretty damn cool, and our little welding torch, which is pretty happy. Anyway, the only other thing I believe I have to show is that they say the optimized explosives, or explosions at least, and it does seem like that. When I'm firing missiles and stuff, it doesn't seem as laggy as it did before. Stuff deforms pretty quickly. Also, when I was testing out some deformation using this and other things, I found that the old drills that you can put on small ships now actually seem like they eat through ships and all their ships pretty quickly. These missiles also instantly can devastate ships still, but something strange, if you notice that all those came flying out, it seems like missiles can no longer actually destroy components, which is a bit strange. I'd also expect in the future when you destroy components, by the way, it looks like these chain guns can indeed destroy components, if I could actually aim at these. Anyway, I hit that one rocket. But you would expect in the future maybe when you blow up certain components, certain pieces of machinery, that you'd actually maybe see all those little small components I was just picking up floating about. So look forward to that in the future. We might see those. It might make, if you destroy an enemy ship, suddenly you have a lot of stuff to salvage. But as you can see here, I'm bombarding this thing with a ton of missiles. And strangely enough, you can see all the metals being destroyed, but the doors, special non-deformable objects are not being destroyed. So currently it looks like it's a bit of a bug, I'd suspect, that missiles cannot actually destroy non-deformable objects. Anyway, the only other thing I have to test really quickly before I go is the idea that possibly these can destroy them. But I suspect they won't. So really quickly, we'll do a large ship. We'll stick these on there, do this, do a Control-C, and really quickly we'll just miss miserably. Doesn't matter. And there you go. You can see those can actually destroy them. It's just small ship missiles somehow magically don't currently pack enough punch to actually destroy this stuff. Bit strange. I'm pretty dang sure it's just a glitch. But who knows? We'll find out in the future. Anyway, thanks a bunch for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Oh, God. Didn't know I left that there. Scared me. Gravity. Oh, that's not the gravity. That's the gravity. Nothing? Maybe if I shoot something? No? Well, brilliant. I've dropped my gun.